Hey everyone, welcome to Total Rebound. This is a special Game 5 episode with Jeremy, who will be coming shortly. But, I want to take the first few minutes of this episode to thank a few people. I want to thank my haters. And I'll explain to you why. First of all, I've been on this Andrew Wiggins kick for about, I want to say 2 years now. And I've fought people several times telling me that, Andrew Wiggins is a bust. Andrew Wiggins is, I wouldn't say they made him a laughing stock, but he's always had this reputation of being quote unquote soft or not good enough. Starting with the not good enough stuff. I mean, he was on the he was on the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then they say LeBron traded him away, and then he was on the Minnesota Timberwolves, and Jimmy Butler said that he was too soft. And now he might be NBA Finals MVP should the Warriors pull it off. So shout out to Andrew Wiggins for giving Tricia another I told you so moment. Anyway, I hope you guys had a good weekend. The Warriors versus the Celtics have been I would say a series to remember. And I don't know if I'm like over exaggerating that, because I feel like every NBA Finals is almost a good one, but because we're not all fans of the teams that are playing, some of us are salty, and so we may not give it the credit that it's due. But I do believe this was a great matchup. Both teams pretty, they matched up evenly when you looked at them separate. And now that they're together playing, and the series is 3-2 with the Warriors ahead, clearly because the split of games is not even it's not like biased towards one or the other. You can see that this is definitely a series where both teams clearly match up rather well. So let's skip ahead to my favorite part, which is like talking about Andrew Wiggins. And if you can, do me a favor, if you can share this to a friend, that would be great. We are here every week talking about the hot topics. So we're going to start with the Warriors versus the Celtics, and then we're going to move on to like something that's hot on the wall in 2MW right now, which is discussing what is a real point guard. I feel like we always have this discussion every year, maybe every month, maybe every week. But I'm quite adamant about the point guard position and it not being as like ambiguous and obscure as people are making it seem. And so we're going to visit the wall and talk about those comments after we talk about this game between the Warriors and the Celtics. So let's skip ahead to the Warriors and look at their stats and look at Andrew Wiggins out here. Look at Andrew Wiggins, leader of the team. Let's Steph Curry with 16. I mean, he was on fire as usual, as typical. Like Steph Curry is normally playing well, but Andrew Wiggins had a lot to say last night, and he scored 26 points. He had 13 rebounds. He basically turned into like either without being disrespectful, he's turned into like, Tracy McGrady or Kevin Durant overnight. Let's say Kevin Durant because Kevin Durant used to be on the Warriors. Turned into Kevin Durant, maybe like, I don't know, overnight while he was sleeping, maybe during breakfast, maybe he had a good lunch. I don't know what it is, but like he's consistently showing us that he shouldn't have been traded from the Cavs, that he isn't soft like Jimmy Butler said. And yeah, if he can keep up this performance for game 6, the Warriors might have another championship ring. If he can keep up this performance, along with his cast, his cast, Steph Curry and his cast, Clay and Jordan Poole and Gary Payton, the second, and the people that support Andrew Wiggins, who's the star of this team, if they could keep it, if they could help him, they can pull off the game 6 win to get the championship. So right now I have with me Jeremy. Hi, Jeremy.
Hey, what's up?
Jeremy is my co-host for um, Total Rebound. And Jeremy, uh, as you drive home, like Wiggins clearly drove it to the basket continuously during yesterday's game, what is your opinion of Wiggins, his performance, and just what the haters were saying about him? And you might be one of the haters too, right? So I'm gonna stay guarded, but like, you tell me what you think about his performance.
Well, I mean, first of all, his performance was good. I was never a hater. I just felt he underachieved, being that him being a former first round pick. That's a lot of pressure to be the first pick in the draft, and he just wasn't living up to it.
But
So,
how would you where would you say he's coming up short?
well, the situation in Minnesota, no, in Minnesota wasn't good for him. It wasn't.
Mhm.
So like sometimes a player needs to be like in a different environment for them to flourish, and then you get to see. But in Wiggins' case, he was with Minnesota, and now that he's coming to Golden State, he fits for what Golden State needs. Golden State needed that wing type player, and no pressure because instead of like him being on Minnesota and you're expecting, okay, you got to be the face of the franchise with Cat. Now you could be um, on the Warriors, and Curry is the face of the franchise, and you got Clay, and now you play alongside, Jordan Poole. So there's less pressure for Wiggins, and he could just go out there and relax and just play ball. And it's
Correct. Now,
exactly what he did.
that's correct. I'm not doubting that. I'm not doubting that the defenses are really focused on Steph Curry. They're focused on Clay. They're focused on other players. But I mean, that's with any player that comes to the Warriors. I mean, nobody would admit the same thing was the reason or the key to the success of um, my best favorite player, Kevin Durant, right? Like Kevin Durant comes to the Warriors and he's coasting, like he doesn't have to really think that much about carrying a game on his back. And he's able to win like a championship there, and nobody really says anything. It's not a big deal. But with Andrew Wiggins, it's like, he should have been better. He should have been this and the third.
I think because he underachieved, and then also I think it's that stigma also like Wiggins was got drafted by Cleveland. I'm not saying LeBron had a say in that, but Wiggins was traded for Kevin Love.
But the reason, what do you think the reason why Andrew Wiggins was traded for Kevin Love? Like your opinion.
In my opinion, I think Cleveland they didn't want. Well, I can't say don't want because Wiggins is athletic type, but then athletic wing, but then Cleveland winds up getting two athletic wings in Shepard and J.R. Smith. Also, at 2 months into the season, remember when Blatt was first the coach, and Cleveland wasn't clicking at first, and it wasn't until they did the trade for Shepard and J.R. Smith, and those were like the perimeter, like they fit. They fitted what Cleveland needed,
Okay.
to play
Well,
outside LeBron. And I think Wiggins.
right now I have Andrew Wiggins stats up for his entire career, right? And I'm gonna just use that as a backdrop to like what I believe happened, why he was traded initially from the Cavaliers. So, he was on the Cavaliers and then LeBron comes back home. And LeBron has a certain system that he plays under, right? Plays with, that he's successful with. And Andrew Wiggins, at the time, being that he's a first round draft pick, being a number one pick at that, right? He has a lot of trade value. And so you have to get the pieces that LeBron needs to succeed, right? Wiggins is unproven. Wiggins, like, he's fresh out of college. His career could go anyway, but like you have to respect that he's a first round draft pick. So what Cleveland did was get the pieces that they know for sure helps LeBron. Now, Kevin Love had never played with LeBron, but Kevin Love has the skill set needed to help LeBron be successful. I'll break that down. So Kevin Love, we know, was like a four who was very good playing with Ricky Rubio, and what he did was able to move the offense by grabbing the rebounds and doing outlet passes. And that was the core, or maybe the foundation of what would make LeBron successful, because LeBron was more like, he's great in transition. And if you get a person that can rebound and do an outlet pass in transition basketball, like Kevin Love was so good at when he was playing with Ricky Rubio, he was a perfect fit for the Cavs. So how do you get the best person, the best player on the Minnesota Timberwolves to come to Cleveland? How do you give a deal that's enticing to a Minnesota to give away their best and franchise player that they fought so hard to keep? Remember the whole Kevin Love controversy, because he tried to leave before. They gave him a bigger contract to keep him in Minnesota, and then he ended up staying because of the money. But like, that was a big fight, right, to keep Kevin Love. What do you give to make a deal sweet, to allow for I would call it a small market like Minnesota, to trade away Kevin Love? You got to give the person with potential value, and that's Andrew Wiggins. I don't remember who else was on Cleveland when LeBron got there, but
Kyrie
Andrew
was
Wiggins.
there. Kyrie was there. I think Tristan Thompson was there too.
Who?
Tristan Thompson was there
Before LeBron got there?
I believe so.
Right. Sharon from the Side Zone and the Chocolate Writer said that Wiggins was traded by Cleveland because LeBron did not want to play with a rookie, period. He wanted a vet and does not know how to lead rookies. I mean, that is that is true. That is true. I'll agree with that. But I've seen a lot of videos. I've seen a lot of breakdowns, and I feel like Kevin Love was brought to Cleveland because he was good at outlet passes, and LeBron was a transition player. So, that's essentially,
it fit the mold like what he had in Miami. You had a
right.
power forward, Chris Bosh, and then you had another guard who could score and could create for himself, and Kyrie Irving, just like Dwayne Wade.
Right. So
Those are
I've
the same thing, the same type of team.
right. So right now I have Andrew Wiggins' entire career up on screen. And even as a rookie, he was averaging 16 and 4, right? Not too shabby as for a rookie. And then immediately jumped up 4 points per game the next season, as one would do if they get a little bit better over the summer after a season. Continuously going up. He had a dip in 2017, and I feel like during 2017, let me double check before I talk trash about someone, but I believe, when did Jimmy Butler get to Minnesota? Was a little bit earlier, later than that, but dipped, but still came back up, and now so he's around the 16 to 23 points per game mark career. And mind you, I'm not going to say that's a number one pick. That's the number one pick like move, or number one pick like performance. You expect more. Everybody expects a lot from number one picks, right? So, but 16 points per game to 23 is a good range for someone, and doesn't indicate a bust. It just means that they didn't meet the expectations that you had for them. But that's a good player, and he's showing how good he is in this series. So, Jeremy, my question to you is, do you see him getting MVP of the finals? I don't know, Jeremy, you can hear me? I don't think you can hear me, but here's Omar's opinion of whether or not Wiggins can get the MVP. Omar says, unless the Warriors lose, the media will 100% give the Curry the MVP. They already conditioned it at the beginning of the series. Remember, only 11 people vote for Finals MVP. All right, Jeremy. I don't know if you can hear me now. Still. Oh, your mic is muted, so you need to unmute your mic. Unmute your mic. Okay, there it is. Do it again. So Andre says not at all. MVP is selected before the series is started. Jeremy, can you hear me? No, his phone is messed up, right? And Sharon says, I would not be surprised if Golden State wins, trying to give the MVP to Wiggins. I won't be shocked at all. I mean, Sharon, at this point, like, I don't think it's like giving. Hey, Jeremy, I think we can hear you now. Jeremy? So I don't think they're trying to give the MVP to Wiggins. I think that he's actually earning it, right? Look at Andre Iguodala. I mean, he had to have a stellar performance in the finals when he won it before, and you could say he earned. I mean, he wasn't the star of the team, but dagnabbit, like, his performance was key for them winning. And I believe that Wiggins has been the most consistent player over the course of the last 5 games that would, give him some kind of reason, some valid reason to get the MVP. It wouldn't be like a stolen thing. I know I saw some memes earlier today. They were saying that every time Steph Curry tries to win the finals MVP, one of the role players comes through and all of a sudden they turn into LeBron or Kevin Durant during the finals, right? So, um, let's see. We have some more comments. Sharon says Wiggins is playing well. He's a difference maker, very consistent, and doing some of the dirty work that Draymond has usually done. Yeah, his rebounding. I mean, I don't know if we call Draymond a rebounding, but I think his rebounding is key because who is the big on the Warriors? Sharon said, don't read too much into my word choice. Oh, I'm just reading exactly what's on the screen. So I didn't. So when 16-8 enough. For the first three games of the series, he's averaging just around his career, a little bit less than his career, maybe 16 points per game and 6 rebounds. It's not too like fancy, but enough to support Steph Curry, who is playing his heart out right now. So I'm gonna read some other stats for Wiggins. So this can't be right. Is this right? Okay. So I mean, we can go through all the games. So the last game yesterday, he scored 26. On Friday, game 4, he scored 17. Game 3, he had 18. Game 2, 11. Not too great at all. And but they still ended up with the win. And in the first game that they lost, they also he scored 20 points. So he's hovering right around the 20-point range. The rebounds still are helping a hell of a lot. And in the last 2 games in the finals, he's had double-digit rebounds, right? He had 16 in game 4 and 13 yesterday in game 5. Really, really, really incredible. And surprise. Well, see, here's the thing. It's not really surprising because I believe we had this controversy on the wall talking about Al Horford and saying Al Horford isn't like a big that plays in the paint. He isn't, I guess. They have other players that do that. And so rebounding, he might be tall. He might be longer than the people on the Celtics that are playing in the paint. And he's able to grab these rebounds that are leading to either transition points and or like just possessions to get opportunities for buckets, and that's really 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 essential to winning. Again, these teams are very very much equal in terms of the matchup, in terms of like who is on the roster and how those roster positions match up. And it's the little things. It's going to be the little things in this series that put one person or one team above the other. It's looking like it's the rebounds from Andrew Wiggins that is essential to some of the success. Let's go to the comments. Are you with us, Jeremy?
I'm back.
All right, cool. So Andre says, I don't think Golden State has role players. Their contributions show more in the playoff because Steph's lack of play. I don't think Steph is lacking in play. Steph is definitely carrying the team on his back, per se.
Basically, he is. He just had a bad game yesterday.
Right. Just a bad game yesterday. And Sharon agreed, like, no, that's flat out wrong, Andre. Yeah, like Steph is playing his heart out. And so I'm not really sure where you get the fact that Steph is lacking in play. I mean, he just had a bad game.
The
But
only one who's lacking in play is Green. Green is lacking. Poole hasn't been the Poole from the first round. Clay is, he's good one game and not so the next. You got to expect that he's coming back from injury. The only one who's been really consistent like that has been Curry.
right. Curry and Wiggins.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Wiggins. So Jeremy, who you think is taking game 6?
Boston. I may have been wrong. I know I was wrong yesterday, but I've said that this series will go to 7. Boston is 7.
All right. Well, you know me. I love this game. I love this finals. I think it's one of the best ones we've seen so far in terms of matching up. I wouldn't be surprised if Boston won the next game, but like I'm hoping that Andrew Wiggins puts together a good game next game, and it helps them to win. I do feel kind of bad about saying that though, because I think that Boston is playing their hearts out. I think they're just unmatched by like experience. Um, they just have the Warriors have just a deeper team of experience, not just a not skill set, but a deeper team when it comes to experience. So we'll see. And and in terms of like lacking on that side, which players on the Celtics do you think need to step up some more? Because if you're gonna get that W that you're looking for in the next game,
Mhm.
Jeremy, changes need to happen. So what changes do you think need to happen for the Celtics?
Um, Tatum needs to come on strong. Jalen Brown needs to bounce back. Marcus Smart has to contribute more and also keep his emotions in check. And Horford, and Williams just continue to take advantage of their size. They have the size. They have the
Right,
size and they have the strength. Like, beat them down low.
right.
Abuse them
You,
for
you,
playing
you, you
small ball.
you just basically said the whole team needs to get their
Yeah.
shit together. You said
Starting five. Yeah.
you said the
Pretty
whole
much.
third five, then the bench,
Hmm.
not one particular player. But you're right. I saw this joke online, and I don't like to repeat jokes, but I thought it was funny that like um somebody said that Jason Tatum in the finals is like Thabo Cephalosha with a green light. You know, like, like,
That's just
I
wrong.
laugh because I'm an Oklahoma City fan and Thabo Cephalosha was on my team for a while. And I
Mhm.
understand. I understand where they're coming from with that. But yeah, Jason Tatum is the star of the Celtics. And I know they talk about Jalen Brown, but Jason Tatum was the star of at least the last series. And I guess it's the big stage. I don't know what it is. Andre says, "Stop shooting threes and take the layup." I agree. I don't know. I
Yes,
listen.
this three ball is horrible. It
But
just
why are they doing it? I'm confused because
because
maybe I don't know.
they're
Hmm?
trying to match Golden State. Because I was watching First Take this morning, and I think it was Stephen A. Smith has said it. When Golden State is hitting their 3 point, they it's pretty much they're trying to knock out home runs because when they're hitting threes, it's getting the team involved or whatever. Everyone is getting angry, feeding off that emotion. Golden State is, I mean, Boston is trying to match that. They want to match the 3-3. If they're gonna do that, they're gonna basically shoot themselves out
Right.
the series.
And we've seen this before, like teams that all of a sudden, when they play the Warriors, they want to play something that's outside of their game. But I don't want to misspeak because I'm not a Celtics fan. Maybe they do typically take all these threes and like, but I think it's so weird. Like, I don't think of Marcus Smart as a 3-point shooter. He can make some, but like, I'm not like, yo, let's make sure we close out on Marcus Smart, and um I hear they do allow Al Horford to take those threes, but as long as Al Horford is out there on that perimeter taking these jump shots, you're gonna have Andrew Wiggins grabbing all these rebounds, right? So, you gotta readjust, homie. Like, do something. You gotta stop Andrew Wiggins. Y'all gotta put
Mhm.
together. Y'all gotta get on the drum board and stop Andrew Wiggins because he's like I can't even call him the X Factor because people already know about the X Factor. He's like the Y to Z, the double A, double B when you go in an Excel, right? He's like, yo, that other column down the way that you didn't even think of. He needs to go down there and at least challenge Wiggins for these rebounds. All of their bigs do. I don't know why they're on the perimeter, but that's what they're doing. You know, so we'll see if they make the changes. Please, Jason Tatum, like I support Jason Tatum, even though I'm rooting for Wiggins, and I'm hoping
He will
that
channel his inner Black Mamba.
right. I'm
Mhm.
hoping that he realizes that Kobe is watching you, so
Yep.
don't F it
Don't
up.
don't be surprised if
Um,
he drops 35 plus tomorrow.
he better.
Mhm.
So I wanna close out the show with a controversial topic that's on the wall. Again, I mentioned this at the top of the show. We're still debating who's a point guard. So Jeremy,
Yes.
Jeremy, I'm gonna ask you. I know you're driving. This might be a tough thing to
No,
think about. Is Steph Curry a point guard?
ah, yeah. I saw this question. Yes, I would say he's a point guard, even though he takes a lot of voluminous shots like a shooting guard. Um, yes, I would say he's a point guard. I mean, you would like to see a little bit more assists from him, but I think he's just a point guard by default
Well, I
because
think he isn't, but go ahead.
you think he isn't.
Listen, Jeremy. Let me just say this real quick.
Mhm.
You can't be a point guard, or you can't be the point guard on your team if other people on the squad, right? Even the bigs. If another team on your squad averages more assists per game for you for the year at any point in time, that means you're not efficient. You're not like most of the time. I understand that there's like, hey, you set up a you do your set, you're running your play, and the last person that passes you the ball or passes the shooter the ball ultimately gets the assist. But at the end of the day, it does net out. The things do even. The market does even. The game does even. And the point guards that are setting the plays, they get their assists. At the basic level, like at least get your assists in the game.
Mm.
He's not initiating offenses for other people. He is the offense. So how could
Mhm.
he be like? I understand like the Iversons of the world were both, but even you would say, well, maybe Iverson was a shooting guard, right? So my thing is, let's just be
But
honest about it.
so you're gonna have two shooting guards on court because what is he when Clay and Jordan Poole's on the floor?
What is he when Clay and Jordan Poole's on the floor?
Mhm.
I mean, look, I've always thought that their offense goes through Draymond Green. So if Draymond Green, they'll always have somebody on the floor that initiates the offense. And I think that's what the point guard is, right? Draymond Green is just another point forward to me because the offense always comes through him. He's not Scottie Pippen, right? So I know you're squeezing your face,
Far,
but like
far from yeah.
he's not Scottie Pippen, but the offense initiates through him, right? So I just don't understand why people are that against not saying or that against admitting, sorry, that Steph Curry is the shooting. Like, what's so bad about that? What's so bad about saying that? Why is that a bad thing?
Because I mean, I'm a traditionalist. I believe basketball should have position. I'm not feeling this positionless era, but when you look at um, the Warriors and how they like to play small ball, for example, and when Curry, Thompson, Poole, Wiggins, and Green is on the floor, and Green is playing center, what is Curry? Curry's Curry's the
He's
runner.
another shooter on the floor. They don't got a point guard.
Hmm. He's the one
I,
by
I,
default,
I mean, by default, somebody got to bring up the ball,
which
right?
he does sometimes.
Somebody got to bring the ball past half court. After that, it's just like
Which he does
but he's
sometimes, but also it could be like like you want to. Sometimes you want your star to set the tone or whatever. Um, have get yours first, then get your teammates involved
why are you struggling with saying that Steph Curry isn't a
because because he can't play. He can't play center. He can't play the 4. He can't play the 3. And when he's on the court with Thompson, Thompson's just the shooting guard. So
Well,
it's
no,
like
not
by default,
necessarily. Not necessarily.
he, so
Clay,
sometimes
Clay,
he may play.
Clay's
He
big
may
enough
play
to
the
play a
3.
three.
He
Clay's
can
big
play the
enough to.
3, yeah. But then also when Poole is on the floor or when Gary Payton is on the floor, on the floor with Curry. What is Curry? Curry is a point guard by default, just off automatic size. Perfect example. Hold on, perfect example. You came to my game on Sunday, right?
Yeah.
You came to my game on Sunday, and after my game was done, we was watching the other games, and we could tell who was playing the 1, who was playing the 2. We was able to single that out by default. It's like automatically. Sometimes your size is going to basically determine what you're going to play, and a lot of the times, Curry may be the smallest one on Golden State at any given time on the floor. So that's why I say he's the one by default. Even though he may be shooting volume is like a shooting guard, by default he is a 1. Because if this was the 80s,
If we going by defaults now.
hold on, but if this was the 80s, he probably would have been a shooting guard. If this was the 80s, just for the simple fact that, like, basically, like your size, because there was a lot of shooting guards back at that time that were, 6'3" to 6'6", 6'7". Perfect example: Joe Dumars, 6'3". Gary Payton, 6'4". Sidney Moncrief. No, Sidney Moncrief was a shooting guard. He was 6'4".
Good question from Sean on the wall. Does Curry guard the 2?
Nope.
Curry doesn't guard
He's
anybody.
He's guarding the 1.
He don't even guard the 1, right? He
Yes.
just be there. They call it playing the passing lanes now. He just be there. He's not guarding anybody. He's just out there.
He is the greatest shooting point guard ever.
Wait, hold on. If Will is watching, first of all, let me put something that we'll put on the wall. He's talking about Steph Curry, so he says Steph Curry facilitates for himself. What? What are we talking about, Will? He said all of the other options on the court are a step down. That being the case, the best strategy for him to be a threat and open up the offense for others. When a teammate gets hot, Steph immediately transition to passing. I mean, that's just a normal case of like when you
point
see
guard.
No, that's like when you see somebody, the person that's on your team that's making mad shots, you keep feeding them. That doesn't mean that you're the point guard. That means you just have common sense. That you gotta give it to the person that's hitting all the shots. That doesn't make him a point guard. That just makes him a team player, right?
Have we seen any 7'6" point guards? No, we haven't.
7'6"?
They are centers 7'6". I purposely said that.
I mean, if you're trying to win the debate, yeah, we haven't seen any 7'6" point guards, right?
Yes. So they're the center by default. So
Listen,
that's why I'm saying it's his size. It's Curry's size. Because
being small doesn't make you a point guard. That's sizeism.
A lot of times, yes.
That's sizeism, and I don't believe in that. I think any person of any size can be a point guard.
But basketball is basically a sizeism sport, to be honest with you. Like, if you really want to get technical,
sizeistic right now, and I'm not feeling it. Right, right. Anybody of any height.
We haven't seen like, okay, but we're not seeing any 6'2" centers. I mean, Golden State love to play small ball.
I
You
mean,
know,
listen, Draymond Green being in the middle, right? He's about 6'8", right?
he's 6'6",
6'6",
about
but
6'6",
even even
6'6",
even
6'7".
nobody cares about that. But it's the littlest person on the court. You gotta be like, oh, he's the point guard. Not necessarily.
Automatically, next, go to any park right now in Brooklyn. Tell me who is normally the ball handler. You're gonna see he's usually the smallest one. The smallest person will automatically be guard. That's just how it is.
I understand that, but we're a step beyond the parks of Brooklyn right now. We're talking about organized basketball, and in organized
It's
basketball, I know you'll have to have 5 to play. That is a rule
yes.
that you need 5 people on the court to play, right? Yes, the smallest
Center, a
person, you
power
kind of like
forward, small forward, a shooting guard, and your point guard.
right. All name positions. So this whole positions
Mm-hmm.
don't exist thing is some kind of new age basketball watching type non-labelism mess that doesn't even make sense. There are positions because any coach, they're not going to sit there and be like, hey, you here and you here. They call
Mm-hmm.
out the positions. They be like, the
Mm-hmm.
small forward is here, the power forward is here, the center is here. So
Yeah.
this whole no position, this positionless basketball mess don't
Yeah.
even exist in real
Because
life. But
if you play in the zone defense, you're gonna have your tallest man right in the middle. Center.
right,
You're gonna
center.
have and the shortest one is gonna be up top. It's typically the smallest one is usually the quickest one.
Yeah,
You're
typically.
gonna have your two quick ones up top.
But yeah, so
So
that's just a stick to my friend here,
size.
Will, who's sitting on the wall right now agreeing with people talking about I don't even think about positions. I don't think I think it's just players and whoever. No, there is a point guard.
That's
There is a
like
shooting guard.
people who think that. Like I wanna ask a question. Someone please answer to the wall. People who's thinking like that. Have those people play the game on any type of organized level.
Right, exactly. Like organized basketball. Y'all you in the huddle, forget the huddle, you in practice. The coach is not going to be like, no, there's no positions. You go over there because I believe
Yeah.
in you. It's like, no, you're my power forward. You go here. You set the pick here. You do like they have positions, people.
If you're
We have to
coaching,
do
we're not gonna put Curry down low. I mean Williams. If Williams have the ball on Boston, we're not expecting Curry to guard him down low in the box. He'll get abused because of the size difference. You're gonna send your center or the biggest person you got on court. You're gonna
right.
match up.
And you'll acknowledge their position and
Yes.
their role and say, yes, the center is going to go here and guard the paint, right? So
Mm-hmm.
look, a disrespect. That's why guys from New York don't do well in the NBA because they're taught to stick to certain positions. That is not true.
But that is a lie. That is a
That is
lie.
not true. That is not
First of
true.
all, I could name a whole bunch of New York players right now that was successful. First of all, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a product of New York. Kenny Smith, product of New York. Kenny Anderson, product of New York. Stephon Marbury, regardless of what people say, he had a successful career,
Right.
mostly in China. That's another product of New York City. Lance Stevenson, you may consider NBA journeyman. But guess what? He's one of those 5,000 players right now that can say that I played in the NBA. So, basketball
Wow.
is position. No matter
They
how like
said,
this new age era, they wanna deviate from that. We're not gonna see a 7'6" point guard. This is not NBA 2K. We're not gonna see a 6 foot center. Now in NBA 2K, the reason why I mentioned that they got like these cards which they call out of position. So you may get a Bobo card that even though he's 7'6" or whatever, 7'2", 7'3", they have him as a point guard.
mm-hmm.
or whatever.
We were
Or
talking
you
about
may
him earlier today. Will Mario Ellie from New
Mario
York.
Elliott. Yes. I forgot about him.
Brendan Haywood.
He's from New York? I didn't know that. Did not know that. Oh, you know who I forgot? Donovan Mitchell. Not New York City, but he's from upstate New York. And you know why
Let's
he
see.
wears number 45?
Oh, God
Number
Sham God.
45. Yes. God Sham God. Street ball legend.
God Sham
Street ball
God.
legend. Average NBA player right now. I think he's on the coaching staff for Dallas.
Okay. Rafer Alston.
Skip to my Lou.
Right?
Probably the most successful street ball player.
Right. So there you go, Andre. Cut it out. Cut it out. Right?
And any of those guys will give you 50 right now. 50
52.
at their age. At their age right now.
You said what was the multiple positions they played? That doesn't listen.
Multiple positions they played, they stuck to, like, again, you're not gonna put Skip to my Lou playing the 3. No, he was a point guard. God Sham
Right.
God. Point guard / shooting guard, I think. Kenny Anderson was a point guard. Another New York,
Right.
John Sally. John Sally is from New York. Sam Perkins is from New York. They were centers.
Right.
Sam Perkins was a shooting center.
So
He would fit
we've
perfectly into their team.
definitely stuck it to you, Andre. But don't disrespect New York. We come out like.
Does Jordan count? Because Jordan is from Brooklyn.
Michael Jordan's from Brooklyn.
He's from Brooklyn.
We're claiming it just to be right. Let's claim it just to be right. So that being said, like, you know, Andre, Will, anybody watching, positions are there in the sport.
Still exist. That's why we say, you know, with certain players right now, like who's the most dominant big or whatever, like. So we're gonna bring up Shaq. We're gonna bring up Jabbar. Matter of fact, it was refreshing. I think Embiid was the first center to win the scoring title since Shaq.
Good point. Good point.
And they was making it a big deal. Oh, a center won the scoring championship for the first time in such and such. So we're not trying to hear, oh, it's not position. No matter, you know, how much they're trying to differentiate. I mean, these positions exist. What is Giannis?
What do you mean?
He's
what is he?
4. He's
Yeah.
a 4. Sometimes he'll play the 5, but he's a 4. What is Kevin Durant? He's a 3. But sometimes he'll play the 4, and then sometimes he's playing the 5.
Right.
But handling the ball at the same time. But he plays the 5. He plays the 5
by the way.
Exactly.
He shouldn't handle the ball, by the way. But
if we're debating that, what is Kyrie Irving?
What is Kyrie Irving? What position do you guys think Kyrie Irving is?
Kyrie said, well, when Harden was there, you play the 1, I'll play the 2. I'm the shooting guard.
Andre Williams says Kyrie was a point guard.
But Kyrie thought he was the shooting guard.
Right.
But Kyrie also thinks the world is flat.
Right. Kyrie's also a controversial. I'll call him a shooting guard only because I believe that he would like the ball to be in his hands to score more so than facilitate to other players, right? But everyone is calling point guard, right? It's only because Harden cares about assists, right? I mean, I can't disagree with that comment, but I believe that Kyrie Irving would love to be considered a shooting guard and treated as such. And I feel like his assists match with that. Like I understand like assist is kind of like a rigid way to like say who's a point guard or who's not. But like at the end of the day, if you're averaging 3.5 assists per game, man, that's not even one per quarter, right? That's one like 70.75 assists per quarter. Then what are you facilitating? Like
Hey,
what do you actually?
okay, I'm glad you said that because I just thought of this. The Bulls are in the second three-peat. Who was the point guard? Ron Harper,
Ron Hart,
a former shooting guard. But who did majority of the ball handling? It was Scotty.
right?
Matter of fact, Harper and Scotty was basically taking turns bringing up, doing the ball handling responsibilities, which allowed Mike to basically concentrate more on scoring. When Doug Collins he did move Jordan to the point in the
Well,
'89 season,
he did.
and yeah, and when Phil Jackson became coach, Jordan wanted to go back to the shooting guard position.
Well, here's the thing. In that particular example, and then we can wrap it up with the second three-peat Bulls, and Ron Harper was quote
With the
the
Lakers too, with the Lakers also, I forgot about that. With the Lakers too, with Kobe, because Kobe was
right,
gone.
right. But in this particular case, right? Because I don't know the roster of this team, but I'm pretty clear with the second three-peat of the Bulls. Ron Harper was to me the two, right? And I call him the two because he only played about 9 minutes a game because they subbed in Steve Kerr and Steve Kerr to play for Ron Harper, and Steve Kerr is definitely not handling the ball. I mean, he did when he had to, but it was at the end of the game, at the end of the at the end of the point, it's really Scottie Pippen that was facilitating the offense. So if
But
he's
you said,
facilitating,
but Scotty was never in, not even close to what being in the top 10 assists.
but he facilitated the
Hey,
offense, right? So that's why I said it's very rigid to judge Kyrie on the amount of assists that he had, and I understand that. But just by watching his play, you can tell he want to be a scorer, right? Point guards are not. He's basically a score first. He think to score first and then be like, all right, let me pass it to my teammate.
but I
That's
felt
not
like Iverson pretty much started this whole wave of scoring guards, scoring point guards, I should say.
right. And then ultimately, people called him a two, right? They said, listen, if you're doing
I
a
still
majority,
view I still view him as the one by
right?
default.
It's a controversial topic for another time, but I
Mhm.
feel like people will disagree. They look at Iverson and they call him a two, and I'm not gonna be upset about that. You know, Andre said yes, he has nobody to pass to. Who are you talking about, Kyrie
Cool.
or Iverson? I mean, okay, let's take that as a valid comment. Like, if you don't have nobody to pass to on your team, then automatically you become like the person that's bringing up the ball and scoring. He said Iverson. Iverson had nobody to pass it to, right? I
Did he
feel like
really? Now, I mean, just imagine how deadly that backcourt could have been with him and Stackhouse, but they couldn't get along.
right. Stackhouse, yeah, you're right. Then ultimately, didn't he play with Eric Snow?
Yes, yes, he did.
Right,
When they went to the finals,
right. And
it
so
was
Eric Snow was the
Eric
one,
Snow,
right?
Aaron McKee was a decent player. I mean, not no scoring threat, but decent player. Mutombo, non-scoring threat, defensive. But that's Mutombo's best offensive season was his rookie season.
Mm, we'll get
He
back
went
to that.
backwards. Mhm.
See Eric Snow. Did y'all see Eric Snow play? Listen. I wouldn't have mentioned Eric Snow if I ain't seen him play.
Yes, he was all right. I mean, he wasn't no, like I said, he wasn't no scoring threat, but he was all right. I want to go on the record. Any player, especially if you're on the smaller side, they got skill to be there in the first place.
Right.
So I don't want to call some of these players who y'all want to consider a bum, like they just trash. Because like my old coach told me, think of NBA garbage. Take the worst player on any NBA team, put him in a pro-am tournament, and he's gonna drop 40.
Drop 50. You know? I know we
60 don't make a
definitely
point.
respect them. We respect the small players and the tall and the big players and things like that. This is respect the positions. They got a position. It's not a free for all. When you go to practice, it's not a free for all. They have labeled positions, and whether or not you want to respect that as a fan on the outside, that's your business. But let's be realistic. Like they're not coaching and saying, any one of y'all, like we're gonna put you in any position, and there are no positions. Y'all just find a place on the court. It don't work like that. Like
sort
there
of like
are
street ball, like you playing in the park.
right. You know,
so
this
any
is
guys or whatever.
this is a controversial topic that's came about by Will, my friend Will, who just decided to bring up people's blood pressures in the middle of the day with a triggering topic. But we like those, Will. So keep going.
Mine is good.
Right. Keep going. When is game 6? Is it Thursday?
Yes, Thursday.
All right, game 6 Thursday. And yeah, hopefully it's not the last game of the series, but we'll do a recap of that show. You had a game. Do you got a game Friday?
I gotta check the schedule because they whoever was supposed to play Thursday, they're playing Wednesday. So I gotta see when we're playing.
Mm-hmm. Well, if Jeremy, our resident team owner and player and coach, isn't playing in his game on Friday, we'll have a recap of
Come to Zone 6. Come to
game
Zone 6.
6.
You got to see. Remember, you saw some pro players there. You got to see my boy Vernon, former Golden State Warrior.
Yeah. So Andre asked where the games are held. They are. What's that park? Is it
It's Lafayette between Marcy and Nostrand.
Yeah, Lafayette between Marcy and Nostrand.
But if it's rain, it might be back at Nazareth High School.
Right. So that's where I was able to catch it. I was in my room watching or on Instagram, and I saw Zone 6 go live, and I recognized the school and ran out there and happened to see a little bit of that tournament. Missed Jeremy's game, but was happy to be there to see basketball go down.
Did you see the dunk? Someone got posterized. It's all over IG.
Well, if it wasn't in the game that was after yours, I'm not sure, but I know there were a whole lot of dunkers in that game that was after yours.
What it is to be young.
Yeah, and the days, he could post the days. They have a schedule coming up. So Jeremy, why don't you go ahead into MW and post the schedule as it comes so that people can check it out. It's a good event. There's a big turnout. There are pro players from NBA as
overseas,
as Jeremy said, and overseas. So it's a good thing to see. Andre, he'll post the games on 2MW. Anyway, with that said,
I'm still looking for another band. So.
Always recruiting. Still, he's looking for somebody to play something. But they do well. He has a good squad. So, anyway, with that said, that's this episode of Total Rebound. We'll be back after Game 6, and yeah, we'll talk about
Celtics. Even though they beat my Nets, but go Celtics.
Go Celtics. I said go Andrew Wiggins. Do it, Wiggins. Put the team on your back, Wiggins. This is your time. You get that MVP, Wiggins. Do what you gotta do. Make sure people don't think you're soft. If
He
you're soft,
better drop 50 the next 2 games to win MVP.
drop 55, Wiggins. Start waving Curry off. Start waving Curry off. Tell him to go sit in the corner just in case you have to pass it off to him. Let him be Kerr. Right? Do what you gotta do, Wiggins. Bring this home for the Warriors. Right? And be the softest NBA Finals MVP, right? And you bring that, and you rub it in. You rub it in Jeremy. You rub it in Jimmy Butler's face. You say, "Look at my MVP. I'm soft like ice cream, but I'm winning." And Camille says, "Anybody but Wiggins." Anyway. With that said, thank you guys for joining Total Rebound, and we'll see you in a few days. Peace.